Let me read the question now. Diagram 7 shows a roll of aluminium. Okay, so this is the roll of aluminium. Continue to read the question. The aluminium roll has a length of 55,440 millimeter and can be cut exactly into 72 sections. The length of the first sheet is X millimeter and the length of each subsequent sheet increased by 20 mm. Atan is assigned to cut the aluminium roll. Okay, so as you can see here, the first length here is X and then it's subsequently increased by 20 mm. Okay, so this is the problem statement given by the question. Okay, so let us read the question part A. State the length in millimeter of first 3 aluminium sheets in terms of X. For the question part B, okay, assuming that Atan has completed 2/3 of his task, by determining the value of X, calculate the total length in millimeter of the last 18 sheets that have been cut. Okay, so this is we can say like a what if statement now, guys. Okay, Atan has completed 2/3 of his task, and then by determining the value of X, calculate the total length in millimeter of the last 18 sheets that has been cut. Okay, so let us read the question part C. The cuts of aluminium sheets can be formed into an open cylinder at both ends in 2 different ways. When Atan completed his task, his brother has chosen the last sheet to form a cylinder with maximum volume. By calculation, suggest the cylinder that fulfills the condition. Okay, so this is the complete question. So let us solve them one by one. Start with the part A. Okay, so when you read this question, you should know that it is a progression question. Okay, when you know it is a progression question, the first question must come out in your mind is it the arithmetic progression or geometric progression? Okay, by the time you read the question, you must have a rough idea. You must identify whether it is AP or GP. Okay, so if you don't know to identify whether it is an AP or GP, so like I said, do feel free to sketch the diagram based on the question given. Okay, so let me just draw a rectangle shape which resembling the length of the sections. Okay, the first section here is resembling the length of 500 mm. Okay, and this is the X meter. Okay, this is the width and this is the length, X meter, X millimeter, guys. Okay, so let us list down all the related information. Okay, the question gives us that total length in this case is 55,440 mm. Okay, so please read the question carefully, guys. Okay, actually they already give you the clue what type of progression in the question itself. Okay, you can see here the length of the first sheet is X mm and the length of each subsequent sheet increased by 20 mm. So let's say for example, if you take your first length is X mm, that means your second sheet will be X plus 20 mm. Okay, so that will be your length of the second sheet. Then the length of the third sheet will be subsequently increased by another 20 millimeter, and so on and so on. So from here we can conclude that this is this is an arithmetic progression. Okay, this is an arithmetic progression, guys. Okay, so from here, if it's an arithmetic progression, that means you have a common difference. Okay, in this case denote as letter D, which is also mentioned by the question. In this case is 20 mm. Okay, this is in Malay and this is in English. Okay, increased by 20 mm. Okay, which is in the Malay is panjang setiap keping berikutnya bertambah 20 mm. Okay, so this statement means that every section increasing by 20 mm subsequently. Okay, so in this case your common difference is 20 mm. So from here we do know that the first term, the first length, or you can write as first term. So in this case I denote it as first term. is x. Okay, in this case the letter A is x millimeter. These are some of the important information that you need to write down in your working. There's nothing wrong, guys, if you write down in your working. It just help you to clarify better. Okay, so this is your common difference, and this is your first term, or you can say it's a first length also can. Okay, so you already find the first term. So how to find the second term? So second term is very easy. Second length, guys. Okay, it should be easier. Okay, don't need to say second term. Okay, we try to relate with the question. So in this case, x plus with 20 close bracket millimeter. So this is your second length. Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, so let me just underline this. This is your second length. Okay, how about the third length? Okay, third length is similar, is increasing subsequently, guys. Okay, 20 mm 20 mm is based on the T2. Okay, so this is your T2. So x plus with 20 and then plus another 20. Okay, because first term x mm and then x plus 20 mm and then plus another 20 mm. So from here x plus 20 plus with 20. So from here you get is x plus with 40 close bracket mm millimeter. Okay, so let me underline this. Okay, since the question asks us to write the first three terms, okay, let us write them in the progression form. Okay, therefore, okay, your first term is x millimeter. Okay, your second term is x plus 20 millimeter, and your third term is x plus 40 millimeter. Okay, so this is your answer for the question part A. So let me underline the solution. Okay, so we have done with the question part A. Let us move to our discussion for the question part B. Okay, in case if you don't know, okay, let me recall again. Okay, the question have mentioned that Atan has completed 2/3 of his task. By determining the value of x, calculate the total length in millimeter of the last 18 sheets that have been cut. Okay, so this statement, even though they've already give you the information, it can be actually very tricky, guys. Okay, if you don't understand properly, you can actually end up by giving a wrong answer. Okay, let's say for example, in this sentence they give that Atan has completed 2/3 of his task, and then by determining the value of x, okay, and you read until here. Okay, they said calculate the total length of the last 18 sheets. Some of the students, you know what they will do? Okay, when they see this statement, they will just take that, okay, s 72, okay, and then minus with the last 18. Okay, last 18 in this case will be s 55. Then you can ask me why 55 over here. Okay, because you are calculating including the number itself, guys. Okay, s 72 and then you minus with s 55. Okay, so if you calculate them, you are literally calculating the sum of last 18, and if you do this, believe it or not, your answer is wrong. Okay, if you do this in your working, like s 72 minus with s 55, okay, if you check, even though it is last 18, sum of last 18, but it's not correct. You know why? Because they only mention here total length. Okay, you're correct. Last 18 sheets that have been cut. How many have been cut? 2/3 of his task. What his task? He need to cut into 72 sections. 2/3 of 72 is, okay, that you need to calculate. So you will get is 48. Okay, guys, that is the one you need to be careful over here. Okay, even I've made the mistake in my early draft of my discussion, and that is why I'm telling you. Okay, this chapter, even though it is easy, but you really need to be extra careful in reading the questions. If you wrong interpret, you can end up by getting a wrong answer. Okay, just I want to remind you. So from here, we take the information that from the question, we put into our working here. So from here, 2/3 of the Atan's task. Okay, Atan's task is cutting into 72 sections. Okay, we just write here 72. Okay, so from here 2/3 times is 72. Okay, 72 divided by 3. So this 3 simplify, you get 1. This 72 you simplify, you get 24. Okay, 2 times with 24, you get is 48 pieces. Okay, so Atan has already completed 48 pieces till now. Okay, this one you hold first. We will come back to it later on, but then we have another big problem. Okay, in order for you to calculate the last 18 sheets, the sum of last 18 sheets, you need to know the value of x. You need to know the value of first term. What is the first term? We don't know yet. How are you going to find out? Okay, let me remind you again, guys. In the question, they have mentioned that the aluminium roll has a length of 55,440 mm. So this 55,440 mm is the total length of the aluminium roll. Okay, and then they also mentioned that which can be cut exactly into 72 sections. So what we can conclude from here, the sum of 72 terms is 55,440 mm, sum of the 72 lengths. Okay, length 1, length 2, up until length 72, you sum them all, you should be getting 55,440 millimeter. So this information we're going to use to find our x, in this case our first term. So that will be our step 1. Okay, remember guys, do it step by step. Okay, so from here, step number 1, find x. So this will be our very first step. So let me underline this. Okay, so from here, sum of the 72 terms which I've already given in the question is 55,440 equals to, okay, we're going to apply the sum of n term formula of the arithmetic progression, okay, which is n over 2 square bracket 2a plus with n minus 1 d close bracket. Okay, so from here n over 2 in this case is 72 over 2, okay, times with 2a. Okay, 2a we don't know, we just write here x. So for now our first term is x, so we just write here x. Okay, plus with n minus 1. Okay, n we know is 72, so n minus 1 is 72 minus with 1, so in this case is 71, and then times with the common difference. Common difference is 20 mm. Okay, in the question they have mentioned, right, every length subsequently increased by 20 mm. Okay, so that is how things goes. Okay, so from here let us proceed with our calculation. Okay, so from here 72 divided with 2. Okay, and then we later on we rearrange the position of the equation so that it will be easier for us to solve. 72 divided by 2, okay, get is 36. Okay, square bracket 2x plus with 71 times with 20. Okay, calculate this. 71 times with 20, you get is 1420. Okay, 1420 equals to 55,440. For the next step, 55,440 you divide with 36. So from here you get 2x plus 1420 is equals to, okay, let us calculate. 55,440 divide with 36, you get is 1540. Okay, 1540. So to get your 2x will be equals to 1540 minus 1420. Okay, let us calculate them together. 1540 minus 1420, you get 120. Okay, so from here you get is 2x equals to 120. 2x equals to 120, so from here you get your x is equals to 120 divided with 2, and therefore you get your x is equals to 60 millimeter. So this is your first term. Okay, so from here we know that our first term is 60 millimeter. So let us underline this. So this is your very first step. Okay, so once you get the x, and now it will be easy for us to find the sum of last 18 sheets based on the 48 pieces that have been cut. Okay, just be careful guys, it's not S72 minus S55, it is actually S48 minus with S30, last 18 pieces. Okay, that from Atan have cut. Atan has cut 48 and he want last 18 pieces, so you need to minus 30. 48 minus 30, 18. Okay, so that's how you get it. Okay, so from here our step 2, find the sum of last 18 sheet based on 2/3 pieces completed by Atan. Okay, I'm writing this for your understanding guys, but of course in your examination you no need to write this statement. Okay, I'm just writing for your understanding, it's a part of your learning. Okay, so from here to solve this, okay, it will be S48, sum of the 48th term, okay, and minus the sum of the until 30th term, S48 minus S30. Okay, so let us make a box. Okay, and then let us solve this together. Okay, similar formula we're going to use, okay, which is n over 2 square bracket 2a plus n minus 1 times with d close bracket. Okay, so 48 divide with 2, okay, square bracket 2 times with 60. Since we know that our x is 60, so you can just substitute the 60 over here. We don't need to put the x anymore. 2a plus with n minus 1, in this case is 47, times with d in this case is the 20 mm. Okay, minus with 30 over 2, okay, 2a plus with n minus 1, in this case is 29 times with 20, okay, close bracket. Let us solve this one by one. Okay, 48 over 2 times with 60 close bracket plus with n minus 1, 47. Okay, and then your d common difference is 20 mm. In this case will be 25,440. Okay, it's raining outside. Okay, I'm so sorry if the audio, if it's not that visible enough. It's raining outside, by the way, at the time I'm recording this video. So the first 48, I mean the sum of 48 is 25,440. Okay, minus, okay, let us calculate this part now. Okay, what I'm going to do is, instead of 48 I'm going to change it to 30. So since our n is 30, so in this case n minus 1 will be 29. Okay, in this case you get is 10,500. 10,500. Solve this together. Okay, let us calculate. So from here 25,440 minus 10,500, you get 14,940. So this is your answer, guys, for the question part B. 14,940 mm. So this is your answer for the question part B. Okay, so I hope you guys are clear and able to catch up with my explanations. Okay, so we are done with the question part B. Let us proceed our discussion for the question part C. Okay, the cuts of aluminium sheets that can be formed into open cylinder at both ends in two different ways. When Atan completed his task, his brother has chosen the last sheet to form a cylinder with maximum volume. By calculation, suggest the cylinder that fulfills the condition. Okay, in this case they mentioned that the brother choose the last sheet to form a cylinder. So the step number one is, okay, we need to identify the 70 second term, the length of the 70-second pieces. Okay, so how to find it? Okay, don't worry, I'm going to guide you now. So from here, so we're going to use this formula, Tn equals to A plus with n minus 1 d. Since you are finding the length of the 70-second section, so in this case will be, okay, your A is actually 60, n minus 1 will be 71, your common difference is actually 20. Okay, calculate this. So in this case 71 times with 20, oops, didn't notice the 7 didn't appear. Okay, 71 times with 20, 1420, 60 plus with 1420. So from here you get your T2 is equal to 1480 millimeter. Okay, let us underline this. Okay, so this is your very first step. So from here you will have a rough idea, okay, that our sheet will be look something like this. 1480 mm, and then this is your length and this is your width, guys. Okay, 500 mm, which is fixed. Okay, so from here our first step is by finding the radius. Okay, because you are forming a cylinder, right? Okay, so how to form a cylinder? Okay, remember, guys, just take an example of okay, let me just show you one. Okay, just take this as a paper. Okay, just take this as a paper and then you roll it like this. Okay, a rectangle paper, you roll it as a cylinder like this. Okay, a rectangle paper, you roll it as a cylinder. So you need to take note that this part over here can be calculated using the circumference of the circle formula. In this case, how to calculate the circumference of the circle? Over here, 2 pi r. So that 2 pi r we're going to apply and then we're going to equate equals to 1480. Okay, so our first step will be finding the radius. Okay, let me scroll this down. So from here 2 pi r will be equals to 1480 mm. Okay, just neglect this first. Okay, so from here your r will be equals to 1480 divided with 2 pi. Okay, just simplify this. Okay, one you get is 740. Okay, this one get simplify, get 1. So from here you get your radius is equal to 740 divided with pi millimeter. Okay, so we have already find the radius. Okay, next, once you already find the radius, it will be easy for us to calculate the volume. Step 2, find Vmax. Okay, in this case the volume that they required is cylinder. The formula to calculate the volume of cylinder is pi r square times with height. Okay, so from here Vmax will be equals to pi r square h. Okay, and continue. Okay, so from here Vmax, okay, maximum volume is equals to pi times with 740 divided with pi square. Okay, in this case your height is actually 500 millimeter. Okay, so let us calculate this. Okay, you calculate this. Okay, from here you get pi 740 square (54) 547,600. 547,600 divide with pi square. Okay, and then times it 500. Okay, the pi and pi we can cancel them out. Okay, you only left with the 1 pi at the denominator. Okay, and then these two you times them together. Okay, 547,600 times with 500. Okay, so from here we convert it into the standard form. You get is 273.8 times with 10 to the power of 6. Okay, that 0.8 we can move another 2 decimal point in front, so it will become 2.738 times with 10 to the power of 8. So from here you get 2.738 times with 10 to the power of 8. Okay, divide with pi millimeter cube. Okay, let me underline the fraction. Okay, so this is your final answer. Okay, another question that you can ask me. So what if the 500 become the length and then 1480 become the width? Also can. Okay, also can. If you do that, okay, you get a different radius, but somehow you should able to get the same volume. Okay, because the radius and the height is the same. Okay, they doesn't change, only they swap their values. Okay, the orientation is just different. Okay, one is either in portrait, another one is actually horizontal, another one is actually in landscape, another one is actually in portrait form. Otherwise the volume is just the same. Okay, so from here that are the two. Okay, because in two different ways. Okay, that are the two possibilities, guys. This is one of the possible which I'm trying to explain to you. Okay, so this is actually your Vmax. Okay, let me scroll this up. So that is all for the step-by-step working and solution for this question. I hope you understand the full explanation that I've given to you for this SPM 2021 Add Maths Paper 1 question number 10. If you like this video, make sure that you give a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for more upcoming Add Maths tutorial videos in the future, and then make sure that you share this video to your friends. Thank you everyone for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.